50 points to 19. The All Blacks get the victory in Loftus-Versfeld in Pretoria. A different game from the Sharks game. Now, the scoreboard says one thing. The scoreboard says All Blacks dominance, and it was that. It absolutely was All Blacks dominance, but I think the way in which the Bulls played was a lot better for preparation for this All Blacks team than the Sharks was on Tuesday. Now, that being said, a lot of people were saying that they thought the Bulls were going to win. I always thought it was going to be by more than 3 tries. I always thought it was going to be the All Blacks winning by a healthy margin, but I actually think the Bulls had some really silly mistakes today, because I thought it could have been a much closer game on the scoreboard, and I thought the Bulls actually showed a lot of fight in certain stages, but at other stages throughout the game looked like they still were in their preseason as well. So a really good win for the All Blacks, a very good performance from them, some really good tries, some really good individual performance as well. The backline performed really well, the forwards did a good job of out-muscling the Bulls forwards, and that's what you need to do to prove to, if you want to prove to the coaches that you want to make the team against the Springboks next week. So a good game to have 1 week out from that opening test match against the Springboks. 50 points on the board against the Bulls at Loftus-Versfeld. I don't care if you're the Springboks, I don't care if you're France, if you're the All Blacks. That's very good. That is really good from this All Blacks team, and they are trending up right now. I mean, if you think about where the All Blacks were a year ago, they were still on the up. Yes, they had a few rough years. This All Blacks team right now is really on the up. They're looking like the real deal. They're looking like a dangerous team. And I know I can see some of the comments already. Oh, but it's against a club team. It's against the Bulls. This is not a bad club team by any means. If you think of the guys that were playing today, there were some really solid individual players as well. There were some really good tries scored. And I thought the Bulls actually kind of showed up trying to prove a point, but the All Blacks just completely blew them out the park with almost every facet of the game, running the Bulls off their feet, much more physical at the breakdown. I mean, guys like Anton Segner, you could not move him once he was over the ball. So there were some really good individual performances there from the All Blacks, but of course we are going to get into that. We're going to go through the stats, go through some of the individual performances, and right after this, if you guys are watching, if you guys do enjoy the content, there will be player ratings for both teams coming out. So if you guys do enjoy the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe to help the channel grow. I really do appreciate all the support. The All Blacks fans have been absolutely awesome in the last few weeks, and it's just getting started, which is the best part. Of course, you Springboks fans, you Bulls fans, you guys have been here for a while. You guys have been absolutely awesome as well. But we're going to be honest about this game here, and the first thing I just want to say is the All Blacks, I've said it before right now, but the All Blacks are on the up. Really, I just want to reiterate that. The All Blacks are on the up. This All Blacks team is going back to their natural ability, back to their fundamentals, their grassroots fundamentals as New Zealander players, as All Blacks, of kind of just throwing the ball around, attacking space when it's there, and just reacting to what happens there. I mean, if you think of the great All Blacks teams, they will always attack space quick. They will move the point of contact quickly. They will move the ball very quickly, because I've heard this many times before from other people from New Zealand I've played with. The ball moves faster than the person, and I think the way the All Blacks play, they play exactly with that philosophy. I mean, the way they were attacking the breakdowns today, the physical battle. Yes, of course, there were mistakes from both sides, but I thought the All Blacks really pitched up in a very good mental way today, in a physical way, and they actually brought the Bulls' own game to them and beat them at their own game. And yes, everybody's going to say, oh, it's a club team, but this Bulls team's got some serious physical players, and I can tell you right now, most of the Bulls fans probably thought they were going to go give the All Blacks a hammering physically, and it did not end up that way. It honestly ended up with the All Blacks being the much better team physically, and just a much better team all over the field. So the All Blacks, 1 week out from the game against the Springboks, definitely are in a good place. If some of these guys play against the Springboks next week, they'll be ready to go. They'll be physically up for it. And I think for all of these guys right now, I think they're going to be absolutely teeming with confidence going into that first Springbok game. They've come here, they had a good game against the Stormers, and the Stormers made it tricky for them, destroyed the Sharks, now destroyed the Bulls as well. And what actually was a bit more of a rugby spectacle, there was a big crowd, not like the Sharks game, like the Stormers game. There was a big crowd, good atmosphere at that altitude. Needed to make your subs at the right time, because the Bulls started to look like they were going to make a comeback. So this kind of did simulate a proper test match for them in the physicality department, and just the way you have to approach the game. Of course, some of the tries were easy, but I think some of those tries looked easy because the All Blacks actually did the hard work, did the hard yards, and eventually made it look easy. But it was not easy at all. They actually made it look easy by doing all the unseen hard work on the field, hitting the rucks hard, carrying with intent, going over, getting the ball out quickly, grinding down the defense from the Bulls, absolutely just breaking down the damn wall, and eventually it broke. Eventually there was a few quick tries in succession, but the All Blacks with a really clinical performance here, I'd say, compared to the Bulls, who had made a few handling errors, the All Blacks were much more clinical today. So let's look at the match summary here for the stats. 3 tries for the Bulls, 8 tries for the All Blacks. you're never going to beat a team if you don't score more tries than them. And 8 tries is a lot of tries in a game like this. But we've actually been seeing that a lot recently at Loftus, even against the Bulls. Teams scoring high score margins. They are scoring in the 40s and the 30s. Even if the Bulls do score more, they're not going to score more against the All Blacks. You can't give up that many tries. 5 conversions for the All Blacks, 2 conversions for the Bulls, 0 penalty goals each. Carries 109 for the Bulls, 156 for the All Blacks. Line breaks, 12 line breaks for the All Blacks, only 1 for the Bulls. That's like a key area. You cannot let the All Blacks get line breaks like that. They become a completely different beast. I've said this before for Ireland, the way they like turnover ball. For the All Blacks, once they sniff a line break, it's like a shark that smells blood in the water. Their eyes just all go completely wide. They know exactly what to do. They are just absolutely, it looks like a wave. You just see a wave of black jerseys just going down the field. They know exactly what to do. Like a shark when it smells blood in the water. They are ruthless when they get those kind of line breaks, those half breaks as well. The ability to offload out the back of the hand, the ability to keep the ball alive, the ability to attack space and hit the weak shoulder with 100% speed is something I've always admired about the All Blacks, and they're doing it really well once again. So it's very good to see that. 15 turnovers lost for the Bulls, 12 for the All Blacks. Not good on either department there. Can't be doing that against the Springboks. 7 turnovers won for the All Blacks, 5 for the Bulls. So quite even there. And I'd say most of the stats here right now, except for the line breaks, quite even in my opinion. Possession, 54% possession for the All Blacks, 46% possession for the Bulls. 50-50 territory, so it just shows the territory battle was complete, dead through the middle, complete down the middle, 50-50. So I will say, I thought the Bulls did okay today. Like, I'm not going to go out there and say I thought the Bulls played terribly. I actually thought the Bulls put up quite a good fight in some of the departments on the field, some of the kind of areas that you expected it to be. I mean, physically, they put up a fight. They had some big carries, they put some big shots in, but they were just lacking with regard to the continuity of just continuing to pile on the big hits, the line speed from the back of the ruck on defense. They were doing it in patches really well, especially at the start of the game and through other parts of the game, but there was just a period of the game, and you could just see when the All Blacks were grinding them down, that just faded away. It just looked like the All Blacks were a bit one-sided after they played through about 8 or 10 phases. Then they were just easily getting over and through the line as well. So for this Bulls team, I know it was a preseason game, but I just want to see them going forward have a bit more continuity with regards to consistency of how they defend in a set play. So throughout like 10 phases, if they can do it for 3 times where they have the exact same consistency of the same line speed, the same type of collisions every single time, because that's probably what the All Blacks can expect next week from the Springboks as well. So there was a lot to learn from this now for the All Blacks, and especially for the Bulls, but I think the All Blacks from this game will be a lot more better prepared than they would have been after the Sharks game. So a lot of positives from this game to take. I do believe that there is, but also let me know down below in the comments your thoughts on this game, your thoughts on how it went, your thoughts on some of the stats I'm reading right now, because of course the stats don't really matter, but I mean, seeing the 12 line breaks to the 1 line break, you can see that there's a big difference there, and the All Blacks just love playing off those line breaks. Tackles, 159 tackles for the Bulls, 127 for the All Blacks. So realistically, there wasn't that much really in it right now with regards to the stats. I mean, the stats was quite close. That's why I don't really normally look at the stats that much, but I think there is a key stat to look at right now, and it is the 22-meter entries. So 22-meter entries, 11 for the All Blacks into the Bulls 22, 10 for the Bulls into the All Blacks 22. That is the most by far now from any of the teams they played against in South Africa, which is why I will reiterate saying this is a good practice game. This was a good practice game for the Bulls. 4 22-meter conversions for the All Blacks. They were a lot more clinical there. Only 1 for the Bulls. Line breaks, we've gone over that. We've gone over all the others. Post-contact meters, 424, more than a full 400-meter track length for the All Blacks. 251 for the All Blacks, for the Bulls. So they actually did put up a bit of a fight there. You can just see it with some of these stats. Looking at the defensive profile, dominant tackles, 3 dominant tackles to the Bulls, 2 to the All Blacks. We've gone through the tackles made, but 42 tackles missed for the Bulls. Absolutely unacceptable. You won't see that from the Springboks next week. If you do see that from the Springboks next week, we will be losing that game to the All Blacks. 12 tackles missed for the All Blacks today. That's about a normal one there for international rugby. We've gone through the turnovers allowed as well, but let's look at some of the best player stats from today. So 38 successful passes for Cortez Ratama. I thought he was quite decent today, to be honest, but I will be doing the player ratings. 7 defenders beaten by Josh Morby. Who was the commentator saying Morby, like it was an Afrikaans name? That actually made me laugh a little bit, but he was awesome. I mean, at the end of the game, if he scored that individual try, I was just going to jump out of my seat and fall over here because that would have been absolutely awesome. Jean-Andre Rudolph with 3 turnovers, 1. And I thought Jean-Andre Rudolph, you know what? He actually played really well today. He was one of the guys, I thought if more of the forwards from the Bulls could have played like him, they actually might have had a chance to keep the game a lot more closer. He was competitive. He was good over the ball. He was a bit of a jack of all trades today. So Jean-Andre Rudolph doing what he does best, doing what he does every single week in the URC. But I actually am curious for Bulls fans and All Blacks fans. For the Bulls fans, let me know which All Blacks players stood out to you the most. And I want to hear some different names. I want to hear some of the newer names here as well. We know all about the Bodenbrats, but I want to hear from you guys, from the Bulls fans that watch, which All Blacks players stood out to you. And for the All Blacks fans, which Bulls players stood out to you. So for me, the Bulls players that stood out to me, I think Stravino Jacobs is really physical today. I thought Jean-Andre Rudolph was pretty good as well. And you know what? I actually thought that Hakeem Kunini, when he came off the bench, was decent with Katlego Letebele as well. They were really good off the bench together, brought a lot of energy. I thought the other guys were okay today. Marcel Gauthier was okay with a lot of handling errors, but I thought Jean-Andre Rudolph, Stravino Jacobs, and a few other guys were pretty decent from the Bulls today. Leroy Carter with 5 line breaks today, of doing what he does best. He beats defenders for fun. He makes line breaks for fun. A few try assists as well. He's definitely ticking a few boxes in the coach's book, that's for sure. 16 tackles completed for Marcel Gauthier, and the one thing you can never doubt about Marcel Gauthier is if he's going to put his body on the line for his team. He plays like a captain. Some things on attack just didn't go his way today, but still, he will never ever not put his body on the line. He will never not give 100% on the field, which I do like to see from him. He also carries the ball into contact a lot like Skulk Burger, where he almost turns his back right before contact and still runs over people somehow. So his back must be sore after the game, but 16 tackles completed. Still decent performance, but on attack could have been better. 16 carries for Leroy Carter, and I think what we're seeing from Leroy Carter right now, he could be making his way into the 23 somehow, some way, or find his way playing one of the first 2 games for the All Blacks, because he's been really good so far this tour. And I've not been too high on Leroy Carter recently. I thought he was a good player, but I haven't been that high on him. I'm starting to see what the All Blacks fans are starting to see. I'm starting to see his worth and his value in the team. The final try scorer of the game, Wallace Atiti, they made it look too easy there, and 10 points for Leroy Carter. So, in all honesty, a pretty good game for Leroy Carter, a pretty good game for a lot of the All Blacks players. And I thought, honestly, the All Blacks just showed a lot of intent today. They showed a lot more intent than the Bulls. And I think that's the one key thing we've been seeing from the All Blacks throughout the last few games. Intent, where I think the last few years, they still had a bit of intent, but they didn't know exactly what they were doing on the field. They didn't know exactly how they wanted to play. I think this All Blacks team right now, under Dave Rennie, of course, but also as a playing group, they understand exactly how they want to play as a team. They know exactly what they want to do in certain areas of the field. It's almost like, I think this year, you see it with the Springboks as well, the players they have that thing where they don't even have to communicate with their mouths. They can just communicate telepathically, and they know what's going on with each other. Their combinations are starting to come together. They understand how they want to play. And this might not make sense to many people at all, but if you've played rugby, you understand sometimes when things just click, it's almost like there's unwritten things you need to say. Everybody just knows what to do, and I think that's happening right now with the All Blacks. But a brilliant game to watch. Honestly, in my opinion, it was a very entertaining game. Wanted to see that it was a bit more closer, but the All Blacks are just quality right now. They are ready for the Springboks, and don't worry, guys, there will be player ratings, and of course, early next week, who will the All Blacks be picking for the first game? That video is going to be coming out, and who should the Springboks be picking? It's going to be absolutely awesome. The greatest rivalry series has just started, but now it's really getting started. The All Blacks number 2 in the world versus the Springboks number 1 in the world. If the All Blacks beat the Springboks, I think they go to number 1, Boks go to number 2. Same if they do that the other week as well. So this is going to be absolutely awesome. I cannot wait for it. I hope you guys are excited too. Please, if you guys do enjoy the content, let me know down below. I appreciate all the feedback, and please do hit the subscribe button and stick around. See you guys in the next one. Cheers.